Always need to warm myself up for the camera. It is Monday. I haven't got my watch on, so I can't even really check what time it is, but I think it's coming up to 3. It does tend to get dark at around 4, and you'd think that's why it's so dull in here. But it's actually about to storm, I think. They could be night clouds, but they're giving storm vibes. I need to get my nails done, or some might say I want to get my nails done. These nails are out of control. I don't think I can recall a time I've ever done Christmas nails, but there's a first time for everything. I think I'll maybe doing these in red. I think red is pretty festive. It's just the little things. I like celebrating holidays and stuff like that, and like noticing the seasons changing. I feel like that's very much like something that's happening to me as I go into my late 20s. I'm 26 now, but I'm turning 27 next year, and I feel like these things I'm starting to adopt my personality as I get older. I also want to get a chemical exfoliant. I was looking at my skin the other day and I'm pretty sure I saw micro tears. I don't know whether or not that's the right term or whether you can even see micro tears in the skin with the naked eye, but I saw something that looked like a tear in my skin, and I feel like that is very much due to using a physical exfoliant which I've been using for years. I'm going to go and see if I can find one of those in the Superdrug by me. And then I also want to go to the library. Well, I need to go to the library because I have a deadline coming up. Surprise. I have a deadline coming up every single day, it feels like, for my newsletter. For those of you who don't know, I write a newsletter 3 times a week. I'm a writer, so I'm always working towards one of them. On Wednesdays, the devotional newsletter goes out and I need to start working on that. I need to go to the library and do that, but I also want to get a book from the library. I haven't taken out books from the library since I was maybe 18, 17, though I have been buying books throughout that time. I'm not a massive reader, and I'm also a very slow reader. I don't know if anyone... I've never seen anyone admit to taking over a month to read a book. It can take me a good 3 months to read a book this thick. I more read articles and long features and stuff like that, so I'm heavy on the non-fiction. So I want to get some non-fiction books from the library, like some essay collections or something like that. So I'm going to see what my local library has. So we're going to go off and do that and hopefully not get caught in the rain. I put a hat on because I just want to be low-key. I'm gonna find a heavy coat because it's both cold and wet. I don't know if the lighting's good in here, and I'm also whispering because I don't know who's going to come in. But today's Wednesday. I am actually up in East London. I've been doing a little bit of work this afternoon, been doing a little bit of writing. I've already done all of the tasks for my day job, which is the job I do in the morning. So I'm kind of onto my own work at the minute. I'm also up here because I need to shoot something. It's like a studio space, I guess. I'm going to be using for a video that I'm trying to shoot, so I'm doing that later on. But yeah, I'm just wearing a very wintry outfit. Maybe it's a little bit more autumn, I don't know. It's certainly not summer. I've got my packed lunch. Today's Thursday. I have gotten back, well, I got back from the gym about an hour or so ago, made my protein shake, then got in the shower, and now here we are trying to meet a deadline for tomorrow. Tomorrow's newsletter is the current affairs newsletter, a week in news. I've written 13 current affairs newsletters since I launched in September, and every one of them kind of features maybe one or two news stories I feel like has a running theme, or a theme I can tie the two or multiple news stories together with. In regards to the creative process, well, as far as this newsletter is concerned anyway, I'll start the week off brainstorming some ideas for what I might want to write about, anything that's popped up in the news that I feel speaks to me. Anything I just feel a connection to is probably a better way to describe it. A lot of the time the newsletter kind of writes itself. The themes are kind of obvious. So for example, this week I'm writing about the ceasefire in Lebanon, and then the pamphlets and apps and stuff that a lot of European countries are putting out for their citizens to help them prepare for the prospect of war should a war occur. The theme that I'm using to tie both together is the whole phenomena of empty gestures. If you've read my current affairs newsletters before, then you'll know that I normally start off with an intro that kind of feels unrelated to the news stories, some sort of anecdote or just some general musings on whatever the theme might be. So I think we've all experienced an empty gesture before. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I kind of scour the news. I'm subscribed to quite a few newsletters that a lot of traditional news outlets put out, so I will read those most mornings and just see if there's anything that I feel connected to, and then I will research them and form a document that looks much like this one. It's just the bare bones of the newsletter, basically, the two news stories that I've chosen, all of the research from multiple articles and podcasts or what have you that I've listened to get the information. I try and be as thorough as possible, as I'm sure you can see. And then when I've done that, I will just sit down and write it, and as I've said, I will then, as I'm doing the research, a theme or a running theme throughout both or just one news story will become apparent to me, and then I will reach into my own life and see what I have to contribute to commentary on that theme, whatever the theme might be. As I said, this week's theme is empty gestures. And so yeah, I guess you would have to read the newsletter when it's actually out, which is it's out tomorrow, and I guess I'll link it below, to see how both of those news stories are an indication of an empty gesture, or rather they feed into commentary on what empty gestures are or are not. So lunch / breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast this morning and it's currently 12:30, so I just thought I'd have a bit of a hybrid meal instead. Just a rice bowl of chicken, fried egg on top. Also, I have finished the newsletter that I was working on yesterday. So I'm kind of stuck now between two different artworks for the A Week of News 13. The first one is this one. In a sort of vague way, this kind of encapsulates what this week's newsletter is about, which is, as I mentioned yesterday, it's about empty gestures. There's something very empty and rotten about this painting, and I feel like that kind of symbolises hollow actions quite well. Well, the second artwork option is this one. This one is called Setting the Altar by Ivan Montoya. I kind of like this one because I think it juxtaposes the topic of the newsletter in a way. But I guess you will have to stay tuned and read it to see which one I choose. I'm out of breath because I've been rushing about. Let me see if I can put the exposure up on this. I am going to another pop-up shop, surprise, with my sister. The reason I go to a lot of these is because my sister has a brand, I think I've mentioned it before. She has a fashion brand, and so it pulls her to a lot of these spaces. Anyway, today's Friday. This is the fit. The scarf feels a little bit unnecessary, but I know I'm going to be cold. I'm wearing those trousers that I featured in the what I'm wearing for autumn video. I'm wearing these shoes, these ballet pumps. These shoes are a big no-no if you're going to be doing a lot of walking, but my sister's taking her car, so, and I'm meeting her there. Should we maybe wear it like this? I think that looks a bit better. The scarf looks a lot better like that for the time being. It's cute. I thought it would be good to do a little bit of a book chat. Obviously I went to the library a little bit earlier in this vlog and I picked up 2 books. I was a little bit skeptical, to be honest with you, of getting books from the library. Particularly those books that are still sticky with the residue of someone else's house. But I took an anti-back wipe to the 2 books I brought home, and I'm just hoping that's enough. But yeah. I haven't started reading this one yet. This is Orlando by Virginia Woolf. Picked these 2 books up based on vibes alone. I just liked the covers. I kind of miss not knowing too much about what it is you're reading. Now I feel like if I'm reading a book or if I'm interested in the book, it's because I've heard good things about it. I guess we'll review this one a little bit later down the line. I'm going to have to extend my loan with this book. But I guess we'll talk about this one for now. I, Etc. by Susan Sontag. It's a collection of short stories. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 short stories in here, and I've just about read 3 of them. I like this book so far. I like the way that Susan Sontag writes. She doesn't write to appease her audience, I don't feel like. I think she just writes for herself, which is great. The first story in here is called Project for a Trip to China. It's like a rambling diary entry of all these different thoughts she's having about going to China. Her parents spent a lot of time there when she was younger. I think this is meant to be her genuine musings about all these different things she's thinking and feeling before she makes this trip that she feels like is going to change her life. The reason I compare it to a diary entry is because it's just a lot of rambling. I feel like it's very much that experience of trying to understand how you're feeling for yourself, and your thoughts are having thoughts and you're just jumping from one idea to another. That's kind of the sense I get from the Project for a Trip to China short story. I feel like if there are any unspoken rules about writing for an audience, she kind of just disbands them and does what she wants. As a fellow writer, I found the whole experience very freeing to read that. So yeah, I like that one. The short story I've liked out of the 3 so far is one called Debriefing. And I'm not sure if this is it's fiction or not, but it feels very memoirish. It's about this protagonist's very glamorous friend who's coming to terms with a terminal illness. She's kind of using it to explore all of these different lives in America. It deals with some it touches on some dark themes, I'd say. Very much has like the underbelly of America at its centre. I think it's based in New York. That's my favourite one so far. I'm currently just finishing a short story called American Spirits. But yeah, I'm liking this book so far. I think I've got about a week or so left with it in terms of the loan date. I'll definitely finish it before then. I like that it's short stories because I just read them before bed, but I haven't been great with doing that. And I did mention that I'm somewhat of a slow, inconsistent reader, which is why I'm even doing this whole library thing in the first place, because I feel like it's definitely helping me read to a deadline. I don't think it's completely unheard of for writers to not be massive readers. I read my own work. Sounds incredibly obnoxious, but I do a lot of reading as it is, and it feels work related. It's kind of like, you know, when you read a lot for school and it kind of pushes you out of reading for leisure. That's kind of what it feels like to read for me as someone who writes a lot. I've got high hopes for this one, Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I like Virginia Woolf's writing, so I know I'm going to enjoy this one. And they're not massively thick, so as long as I keep going for books that are this sort of length, I think I'll be okay. The sun's going to set in the next hour or so. I think this will be a good place to cut off the vlog. If this is the last time that I speak to you, then hope you enjoy your Christmas and your New Year. Yeah. See ya.